Alright, so like I said in my last video, unless you have been through the family court system, or you're a foster kid, or you're adoptee, a birth mother, a non-custodial parent, etc., you probably don't care about this stuff. And if someone says so-and-so lost custody or can't see their kid, you probably think, well, they must have done something really bad. That's not true. There's actually a multi-billion-dollar industry built around separating families and traumatizing children. And once the children are traumatized by the system, they generate a lot of money, because foster parents and adoptive parents actually get more money the more special needs the children are. And if they're on medication for mental health problems, they're considered special needs. So it's a huge corrupt industry. And there's a lot of myths generated by the adoptive industry, and one of them is that children are unwanted. They've done research on birth mothers. 97% of birth mothers who relinquished their children wanted to parent, but didn't have resources. So instead of giving resources to low-income families, we take the children and sell them. So I started to say, you're not going to care unless you've been through it. And obviously, you're just going to say, when Andrew Benincasa says, they saw that I was abusive. That never happened. And I'm not. This is abuse. This is using the legal system as a weapon to abuse me and my daughter. I'm not letting us see each other for the past 6 years has been literal torture. And I'm sure she's going to feel the same way. She may not be expressing it because obviously she's a child. She needs her needs met. She can't, feed herself or provide shelter for herself. She's only 10, so 11 in 2 days. So the thing is that when kids go through this, they're afraid. They're afraid to speak out. They're afraid to ask to see their other parent. They're afraid of losing the caretakers they have. So they're traumatized by this, though. If you don't have to take my word for it, you can read and you should be reading accounts of adopted kids and how they feel about being separated from their mothers. And fathers are important too, but maternal separation trauma is a real thing. And I shouldn't really have to explain this. Everyone should know. Everyone who has a mother. Oh, that's another thing I wanted to bring up, which is the Benincasas. Andrew Benincasa wrote this thing, and he has no idea what he's talking about, because he was raised in a 2-parent household, and actually his mom was pretty abusive to them growing up. They all told me, but that's another story. Even so, he was never separated from his mother. He's not a mother, obviously, so he's never had a child, so he's never lost a child or been separated from a child. So he's never been separated from his child. He's never been separated from his mother. He's never had to pay for anything, like his own living expenses, or let alone someone else's living expenses. Never had to pay for a lawyer. Never had to work. And so I'm working, paying my ex-husband, and separated from my daughter, and my daughter is suffering because she's separated from her mother. And he's, professing to know something about this, and he knows nothing about it. I'm sure he doesn't take the time to listen to adoptees, but he should. Or listen to alienated children of non-custodial parents who, they say they were quote-unquote protected. They're not being protected. They're being stolen and trafficked and bought and sold for money. And that's exactly what they did. They took my daughter from me. They made false allegations. They spent $200,000 and they got full custody. That's legal because our system is really corrupt and unethical. But legal does not mean ethical. And just because they were able to do it, because they have the money and they wanted her and they had the money and they could afford a good lawyer, doesn't make it right. It's sick, and it's serious child abuse and domestic violence against me. And it's just, I feel like I shouldn't have to explain why taking someone's child is wrong, or taking a small child from their mother is wrong. But in case you don't know, separation trauma causes elevated levels of cortisol. elevated levels of cortisol over a long period of time causes brain damage. So just because you don't like the other parent or you want revenge or whatever, that doesn't give you the right to cause brain damage to a child. And you might think, oh, Ava's not brain damaged, she's super smart. Yes, she is super smart, thank you. Like, I gave birth to her and nursed her till she was 5 years old. I actually had something to do with that. So, yeah, she's smart, but that doesn't mean that she's not suffering. Children who are alienated from their parents, or children who suffer maternal separation trauma, if you listen to adoptees, they will tell you over and over again, they're trying to make people understand they are 4 times more likely to die by suicide. They have twice the PTSD of veterans. And this kind of child abuse leads to depression, anxiety, and all kinds of mental health problems later on in life, because it is so painful to lose a parent at a young age, especially the mother. So this insane notion that they're doing this for her own good or for her best interest, it couldn't be further from the truth. They're doing this for their own selfish interest. They wanted her, they wanted to own her, they wanted to have control of her, and they wanted to take all the credit for what a wonderful child she was. My ex-husband wanted to hurt me, and I don't know. I mean, Joe and Nan had sadly just lost their daughter, and I'm sure they felt that Ava filled a void. But children do not exist to fill voids in adults' lives. Adults need to make sacrifices for their children. Ava is now feeling a void of where her mother should be. And there's nothing I can do to fix this, because it started when she was 2.5 and now she's 11. That was her whole childhood, like just completely destroyed by the family court system. But I need it to end as she needs it to end. We only live 20 minutes away. Anyone from her class, any of the other mothers or fathers, if they happen to listen to this, I doubt it, but they can call me. It just has to. She's growing out of it. They won't be able to keep it a secret much longer. They can't keep her off the internet forever. She's gonna find out what happened, and when she does, she's gonna want answers. Okay, what did you accuse my mother of? Was it ever proven? And she's gonna see, no, there was no proof, no evidence, no nothing, because nothing happened. What happened is you spent a lot of money and you got your way in court. That is what happens when you spend $200,000. Like, nobody gives a shit about these kids. They're in it for the money. Do you really think that the judge lost sleep wondering if Ava's okay with her mother? Of course not. She saw an opportunity to make money, and this is their business. If it weren't for people like my ex-husband who wanted to fight in court, they would not have jobs. So, that's it. The American family court system is horribly corrupt. So is CPS. So all these judges and social workers that Andy is saying, oh, they all saw something wrong with her. No, they didn't. They saw an opportunity to make money, first of all. And second of all, why are you putting them in charge of my daughter's life? These are very, very corrupt, unethical people that we should be protecting my daughter from, not putting her life in their hands. Yesterday when I was recording a video, my boyfriend, who's here now, he's my partner of 8 years, he chimed in to say that I was a good caretaker because he's disabled and I'm his caretaker. I wanted to keep talking, but I also wanted to talk about what he said. And babe, if you want to say, the thing is that the irony of this, that they're preventing me from taking care of my daughter, but I'm a full-time caretaker. I'm in the caretaking union. Caretaking is what I do to pay my child support for the child that they say I can't take care of. That irony is not going to be lost on her,
What's also sad is, I've said this before in previous videos, anyone who knows Suzanne knows how wonderful she is with children, and the fact that her daughter is not able to experience her own mother's love, and what her mother, how her mother makes other children absolute crime. That's wrong on so many levels, and I just hope that the realization comes that
the Benincasas have a realization soon that this is wrong. They got carried away, and it was really just a matter, I think, of bad timing. Partially. I mean, it was also, I don't know what's wrong. That's another thing. Andy knows. He knows his brother has mental problems. Like, I loved my ex-husband, and I wanted our family to stay together. But when he said he wanted a divorce, I was like, okay, I guess we'll be friends and we'll co-parent. Literally, I did not, everything that Andy is accusing me of doing, calling them Nazis, etc., that happened after they attacked me in court and took my daughter, who was a baby at the time. What would you do if you were a mother and someone ripped your baby out of your arms?
And Suzanne was a stay-at-home mom at that time, so she never had the opportunity to secure a lawyer, have a fair fight in court. And there should be no fight.
There should never have been a fight. But yeah, obviously, like, he was able to get the best lawyer money could buy, and he didn't have to worry about the money because his dad was paying for it. Well, obviously that's a luxury not everyone has. I didn't have that luxury. So, not that I would ever want to pay a lawyer. I really just wanted to co-parent. But, like I said, this happened 6 years ago, and it happened very fast. And it doesn't take a long time to do this, but it takes years to undo it, and tens of thousands of dollars that I don't have. I work full time, and I pay my ex-husband close to $10,000 a year, and that all that to like miss my daughter's childhood, which has been extremely painful. And the punishment doesn't fit the crime. I don't know what I'm being punished for. I mean, allegedly I'm being punished for letting her miss preschool. Okay, she'll be in 6th grade next year. Like, how long is that going to go on? I mean, it's just insane. There's no need to, you shouldn't be punishing people by taking away their children, but that's what is happening. And it has to stop. Obviously I'll take all this videos and stuff down, but as long as this keeps going on, I just keep wanting to talk about it, because the more and more people that just like get out and talk about it, the better, because this has to end. So I'm going to end the video now, but hopefully make another soon.